welcome to the Football First. This is game week 8 of the reaction show. Yeah, 8 games in, we're now hitting another international break. Yay, everyone loves an international break. But we can look forward to playing Spain and Croatia, if you are an England fan. I don't know if using the words look forward to are correct, but yeah, we are playing them, so we'll see how that goes. But let's start with Friday night football. We had Brighton versus West Ham. West Ham actually losing this one with Glenn Murray getting the goal. Both teams had quite a few chances. I don't think neither team actually played that badly. And Nautovic, of all people, he had about 2, 3, maybe even 4 chances, especially one right near the end, which he would probably normally score. But then on the other hand, Brighton again, Glenn Murray had a few chances himself, so I think the game probably deserved to be a draw, but good on Brighton. It's a good home 3 points for them. And West Ham fans, I wouldn't be worried. It's just a tiny little blip where you've come from the first 4 games of the season to the second 4 games of the season. Second 4 games to the last 4 games of the season. No, it's technically the last 4 games you've played, yeah. I wouldn't worry, just a little blip, but yeah, you'll get there. So it was a good match, not the best of best matches, but yeah, it wasn't a bad one. And yeah, like I say, I think it probably should have been a draw, but that's how it goes. On to Burnley, Huddersfield. It was a weird one. It wasn't the best of games, I would say. It was quite boring. Burnley, I'd say, had more of the chances. The scorers were Vokes and Schindler for Huddersfield. It was one of those matches where you'd watch it and go, I could have probably missed that 90 minutes and gone to the shops and got some groceries or something. Yeah, it wasn't the exciting match of the day. And Burnley at home, you kind of expect them to win that, even though the season started poorly for them. But that's how it goes, like I said about the West Ham game. Good point for Huddersfield away, I must say that. Yeah, I can't take that away from Huddersfield. Very good point for them. I think Burnley had the more of the chances, the clear-cut one. So yeah, very, very good point for Huddersfield. On to Crystal Palace Wolves. Now, I'm going to sound like a broken record here. It did finish at 1-0 to Wolves. With Doherty getting his first goal of the season. I think it's his first ever Premier League goal as well. Oh, like I said, it's like a broken record with me for both of these teams. Starting with Palace, they had some chances, but if Zaha is not on it, they don't win. They don't score. And Zaha, again, was good in patches, but he wasn't the Zaha we've known from the last season and a half. So it's kind of, you still saying the same things. You need someone to help Zaha, take the pressure off his shoulders. And yeah, it's not going to improve much until that happens, in my opinion. And then with Wolves, again, sound like a broken record, but they play nice football. They got some cracking players. I keep saying it. They are the best team to ever come up from the Championship. I just think they look awesome. They had a few chances. I think it's Calavero. That's how you pronounce it. He came on and he smashed the bar. It didn't really make a noise. It was quite weird. But yeah, he hit the bar with an absolutely thunderous, I think it was a half volley. So yeah, I think they were well-deserved, Wolves. And what a cracking 3 points. Selhurst Park, no matter how West Ham are playing or who's playing, Crystal Palace, my apologies. It's a hard place to go. The crowd at Selhurst are really, really on it. They're always loud. And yeah, they always get behind their team. So yeah, good 3 points there for Wolves. We have Leicester versus Everton. Everton getting the away win, goals from Richarlison, Sigurdsson, and Leicester's was Pereira. Wes Morgan getting sent off for 2 yellows. Yeah, I definitely agree with both yellow cards. We'll start with that. They were both silly yellow card tackles, which he didn't have to make. Especially the second one, he really didn't have to make it. The first one, I understand as a professional foul, as they called it now, why he did it. But the second one wasn't needed. So, unfortunately, yes, it was a red card in the long run. I do agree with the referee. Pereira, it was a good goal. I did enjoy it. But the goal of that day was Sigurdsson's. Oh my God, that guy's hit some form last 3 games or so. The turn was brilliant round whoever it was. And then just to literally knock it in front of him, hit a ball across the goal and get it to dip like it did. It just looked amazing. You can actually go online and see it from different angles, and yeah, every angle is just as good as the last one. Hopefully he can keep this form up. We know Sigurdsson is a good player, so he's normally hit and miss. He'd be there for a couple of games and he'd disappear. So hopefully that's like 3 games, like I said. And I hope for him as a player that it does carry on. And Everton need him to carry on, because with Richarlison, obviously he did get a goal when he was banned. They didn't play too well, so Sigurdsson needed to step up. Now, if they can all step up together, then yeah, they're not going to have a problem. The chemistry with the amount of money they spent is starting to come in. Bernard, I thought played really, really well. It's the first start for him, I believe. Let me know if I'm wrong, but yeah, he looked very, very good. And another good away win there. And on to Tottenham Cardiff. Which Tottenham won this one. It was 1-0 Eric Dyer. We'll start with the goal, might as well. Sloppy from Cardiff. It just dropped and no one did anything. And just Eric Dyer was there. Not the best of players. I'm not a fan. And just tapped it in. It was simple as that for Tottenham. Other than that, Tottenham had a fair few chances. None that I would say they were chances that they should have scored. They were the ones that go in sometimes. But before we move on to the red card for Cardiff, Lucas Moura, he is stepping up. He played a few good games the last couple of weeks, but some of his off-the-run balls, some of his dribbling, passing, he does seem to now be getting comfortable with the English game, getting comfortable in that Spurs team. And yeah, I think he will be probably just as important this season as Harry Kane and Christian Eriksen. Obviously, they had a lot of players out again, so you can't be too harsh on Spurs. But yeah, definitely liking Lucas Moura now. He's played a month last month for the Premier League. And if he carries on how he's going, he'll have a very, very good season. Now, who was it? It was Rails, whatever his name is. Silly red card. If you haven't seen it, I'd say go online and actually have a look at this red card. It will teach you, especially anyone who's younger, what not to do. So a ball's played through to Lucas Moura. Obviously, he is insanely quick. And instead of maybe going across the back of him and just tapping his foot, doing a bit more professional, maybe give him a shoulder in the back, not so much a shoulder to shoulder. Yeah, he just got to try to karate kick him, just drop kicked him in the legs pretty much as he went to run past. It was very, very silly. If he had pulled his shirt, he would have got a yellow. But yeah, he just dove in so randomly. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. So yeah, very, very silly red card. I don't know why the Cardiff players were protesting. It was ridiculous. It weren't the fact that he was the last man or anything. It was just a aggressive, premeditated tackle. Because if it was off the cuff, you wouldn't have done that. He knew he was getting past him. He knew what he had to do, and that was the wrong thing for him to do. Watford versus Bournemouth. Yet another red card in this one, but it was 4-0 to Bournemouth. King getting 2. Brooks for the 2nd week in a row after scoring his first ever goal in the Premier League gets another one, and Callum Wilson with a very, very tidy finish and a nice pass from Fraser on that goal. I did enjoy that goal. Watford, they're still, I think this is probably one of their worst performances as a whole. They did go down to 9 men, in the 32nd minute. Again, 2 yellow cards. They were both yellow cards. The same guy for his 2nd yellow gave away the penalty for King. It was just silly. I've been saying the last few weeks with Watford's results that they've been unlucky. They should carry on how they're going. It now seems like it's getting a bit going down a little. Not like that. It's starting to go down a bit. Their performance level. if they can pick it up, then that's great, because I did enjoy watching Watford the first 4 or 5 games of the season. But then you can't also take away from Bournemouth. Apart from that blip at, I think it's Burnley, they lost 4-0. They came back, they won 4-0 themselves. They looked good. They looked like a bit more energy about them. They've had a really, really good start to the season. So yeah, Bournemouth, carry on what you're doing. You're looking good. What a game this one was, the last game on Saturday. Newcastle versus Man United. Now, I watched every single second of this game. As a neutral, it was what you want to see from a football match. The underdogs winning, people coming back, players coming off the bench, nice little intricate passing for some goals. First half, Newcastle attacked. Obviously, they lost 3-2. Newcastle attacked. Kennedy scored. Muto scored, and they could have had 2 or 3 more by the first half finishing. Literally half time, they missed a header. I think De Gea made a couple of saves, and yeah, it was incredible to watch. Man United, within 13 minutes, Bailly went off, but he then put McTominay in centre back to bring on Mata. Surely you just keep your centre back at centre back, take McTominay nearly off, put the experience and creationness of Mata on, but no, he did that. But the problem with this game was, and why I believe Man United came back and won it, with goals from Mata from a free kick, Martial with a lovely goal with a nice little backheel flick pass from Pogba, and then Sanchez with a header right at the death. It wasn't so much what Man United did, because when they were getting pressed by Newcastle, they couldn't handle it, and I don't think the players can handle it, the ones that they've got. Newcastle sat back, and Man United do have the talent going forwards. So if you sit back and allow that pressure, they're gonna punish you, and that's exactly what they did. Fellaini came on again, and I think again he made a difference. It's still sad as a person myself. This is my own opinion, obviously. I don't think he's a great technical footballer. You know why he's there, to be the brute when the headers, use a bit of muscle. But when he's coming on and being your best player, minus De Gea, obviously, you still have a problem. But it's working. You can't knock Fellaini for it. It's not his fault that he's not technically as good as a footballer as some, but it works at the end of the day, and you got to play to your strengths when you're not playing well. So yeah, it was a very, very good match. Sanchez actually done something. Other than that, I didn't even know he was playing, because it wasn't great from him at all, to be honest with you. And yeah, it's just one of those games where Newcastle kind of have to go, we shouldn't have sat back, really. Anyway, on to Sundays. Fulham 1, Arsenal 5. Fulham goal come from Schürrle. Very, very nice goal. But that's pretty much all I can say about that Fulham performance. Yeah, that one goal from Schürrle. Nice little finish. And then we had 2 goals from Lacazette, 2 goals from Aubameyang, and then the best goal of the season for the build-up play by Aaron Ramsey, and obviously the little backheel flick that he did to score. That goal was very, very well worked. Now, Lacazette's both of his goals, both of Aubameyang's goals, I wouldn't say they were because Arsenal were playing amazingly well. They were playing good, but Fulham were terrible. I thought defensively, their 4 goals between those 2 players all could have been stopped. The goalkeeper probably could have got his hands to 1 or 2 of them. And it's not even about that match as a whole. It's about Fulham as a whole coming to the Premier League. They had so much promise. They signed a couple of good players. They had players coming through like Sessegnon. And you thought, you know what, Fulham, with teams like Cardiff and Huddersfield who aren't playing particularly well, Fulham could maybe stay up. And now you look at them 8 games in and you kind of think, what's actually happening here? There's no improvement. It's disappointing, because I like Fulham. I like the players they've got. And yeah, it's just disappointing on their side. Arsenal, I still feel you've got tests. The team haven't played anyone major. Chelsea and Man City, obviously, at the beginning of the season, but the transition was probably the worst point those first 2 games. But since then, all Arsenal's wins haven't been against teams that will press them or challenge them for headers and challenge them on the ball as much. So yeah, it'd be interesting when Arsenal start coming up against the likes of more like the top 10 clubs. But yeah, we'll wait and see. It's looking good for Arsenal though. You can't take that away from them whatsoever. But I wouldn't go over the top just yet. Same with many of the teams, to be fair, who are transitioning. But yeah, it's early days still, early days. Southampton versus Hazard FC, as I'm calling them at the moment. 3-0 to Chelsea. Hazard scoring, Barkley scoring, and Morata scoring. Southampton, they could have got a couple of goals. Kepa made a good save from a long shot from Redmond. Danny Ings missed from a few yards out. But at the moment, Eden Hazard is probably the best player form-wise in the world. He is just on it. And this is the Hazard that you want to see all the time. He's not going down easily. He's going down when he actually gets properly fouled. He's not going down just to win fouls. He seems happy with his football. His finishing's cracking. His passing's cracking. His work rate's cracking. When you have those components with Hazard, you're going to get one of the best players in the world. It's when something goes wrong with a team or the manager or himself, that's when you don't get all 5 of those components that I just mentioned, and that's when he becomes the Hazard that no one really likes. Obviously, there's rumours coming out that he doesn't know whether to sign a contract or go to Madrid. Personally, I think he will go to Madrid. And personally, not even just because I don't support them, I think he deserves to go to Real Madrid and get the plaudits of being in that Galactico team. He is good enough. Him and Bale will destroy that league, I believe. So yeah, it will be a big loss for Chelsea. If it goes in January, if it goes at the end of the year, either way, it will affect them. Chelsea, again, I still think near January when the games start building up, a bit more involvement in Europe, it will get harder for them. Their squad depth isn't as good. But yeah, really good 3-0 away win. It's quite a standard away win for them as well, to be honest with you. So not too bad for them. And then the last game of the weekend was meant to be one of probably the biggest games of the season. Man City, Liverpool at Anfield. It is made up to be who will finish at top before the international break. Chelsea had won earlier in the day. They'd gone top by a point. It was kind of a stalemate. I spoke to some people who said City dominated. I spoke to some people who said Liverpool dominated. Neither team dominated. If you look at the stats, it was straight down the middle. Passing a little bit more on Man City. A couple of extra shots from Liverpool. Possession was right down the middle. There was no clear-cut chances apart from the Mahrez penalty. Now, I can see why the penalty was given. They did do some analysis. Van Dijk got the tiniest of touches on it, but in real time, you cannot blame the referee. It looks like a penalty in real time at the end of the day. Mahrez, you can't say he shouldn't have been taking the penalty because he scored penalties before, but then he has also missed probably just as much as he has taken. It is a weird one. You had many other players on the pitch that you put before Mahrez, but I think he kind of wanted to get his Man City reputation up, his career up. They would have been their first win at Anfield in 20 odd years, I believe, in the league. So you can see why he wanted to take it, but it was a terrible, terrible penalty. Apparently it's still floating around somewhere. But yeah, it was actually quite a boring game, to be honest with you. But as a Liverpool fan myself, and I've been speaking to Man City fans, it's a good point. Even Liverpool at home to Man City, they're the current champions. They're an amazing team. Home or away, you take a point from City. That's a great point. City also probably thinking going to Anfield. We haven't won there in a while. Liverpool aren't a bad team. Taking a point away at the big clubs, it's always a good thing. That's where you win your title. So yeah, it wasn't the best of games, but you've got 3 teams now at the top of the table: Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man City. In an order of goal difference, obviously. So yeah, it was an interesting weekend. It wasn't the best weekend. Many red cards. Goals were about average. There weren't loads. Some games had a lot. Some games had not many whatsoever. But yeah, let me know what you thought of this weekend's football in the Premier League. International break. We do not know what we're doing yet, but we have a few little ideas, so we'll let you know over the international break. Obviously, hit the notification bell to know when the videos come out. Hit the like button if you did enjoy this video. And obviously, subscribe to the Football First. Hopefully next time you see me, I will be with some other people because it's getting lonely now. But yeah, that's how it is. Nice one. Peace.